change of scenery for myself and my friend this weekend.
Absolutely, and some breaking news on the international angling scene. Matt Godfrey, England international, formerly of Drennan Barnsley Blacks, this is an old shirt by the way, has signed for Matrix Dynamite Trentman, haven't you, mate? Welcome on board.
Thank you very much. I signed for the team, fished the Heronbrook teams of 4, purchased 4 new top-of-the-range flagship poles under the sponsorship deal,
Yes.
20 or so boxes of dynamite baits, and I'm afraid to say I'm leaving the team, mate.
No, you're not, are you?
Yes.
But you had a great day at Heronbrook for as well.
I had a great time, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Tell us about what happened at Heronbrook. It was a teams of 4 event, 120 anglers taking part. Big old winter league, that, isn't it?
Really is.
Second round. First round we were 6th, and our team was myself, you, Michael Elliott, and Mark Bowers for this second round. And you drew on Canal Lake for us, didn't you?
Well, you drew me on Canal Lake.
I did, yeah.
Peg 16 was my home for the day. I didn't really fancy it, to be honest. Thought I were up against it. I had the famous stick-up pegs were in my section at the early numbers, 9, 11 and 13. Big stick-ups going out in the water, good winter pegs. And to my left, Gareth Gibbons was on the corner, with a bit of room to his left. Say a bit of room. I'm surprised Neil Dale didn't come round for a day ticket. He got that much room, yeah.
Were that bad, was it?
It was terrible, mate. It was
I think you're a bit bitter about what Gareth Gibbons did to you.
Well, I'll tell you about him.
I've heard some excuses coming out, to be honest.
I'll tell you about him later.
Right.
He were giving me some slaver.
Right.
He were building up to this blog.
Was he?
2 hours in, he turned to me and said, this week's blog will be interesting, won't it?
Just as he slipped third net in, with that one?
That was just when he slipped third net in, which is obviously meant he'd got more than 100 pounds in weight. Anyway, started my match dead negative. I didn't expect it to be very good, so I started dobbing bread. Had a little go down the edge, caught a roach. That wasn't the one. So I had a look across, started at my left and thought I'd work my way all the way up. Try and push some fish in front of it, and I didn't catch anything really. I caught one little stumpy rogue F1 called Derek.
Right.
20 minutes into the match, I found myself feeding some bait down the middle, setting a few little traps, tapping a little bit of bait in, putting my rig accurately on it, and just trying to catch what was there in the early stages, with hope that I could catch some fish later on.
Yeah.
First 2.5 hours, I caught 5 lovely F1s and a nice little stocky carp, which was not very good, to be honest. Alex Dawson were next to me. He were battering me. Got a dozen fish. Mark Kearns was on peg 11, catching really well, and he's awesome.
He won the festival there. It was not last spring, the spring before, wasn't it?
I think I've run in his section 4 or 5 times at Heronbrook, and he's won the section every time.
He's the man to beat.
Yeah, brilliant. And he's a very nice bloke as well.
He's a lovely guy.
Proper nice bloke. But he was catching well on peg 11, and Gareth Gibbons was absolutely emptying the joint to my left. My lord, was he catching. And my day was going from bad to worse. Bites totally dried up the third and a half hour. Yeah. And I'd left one little area of my peg in the shallowest water. It was about that much shallower than everywhere else, and I thought that is my last little push in the best time, the last hour and a half, and I've gone into this little hole in the reeds, last hour and a half. Again, feeding micro pellets, fishing a formal expander, and I've caught really well for the last hour and a half. Little F1s, 2 better carp. I've ended up weighing £57, which I was very surprised about. I caught a lot more.
They weigh well, them F1s, don't they?
They do. And I think you don't realise, do you? When you sit for long periods without catching, but then you have one good spell of catching. Yeah. It's amazing how much you can actually catch in a short spell, isn't it?
Yeah. You fish for 6 hours as well. It's a long time, isn't it?
And I really enjoyed last hour and a half. And it was enough for halfway in the section, 5th out of 10. Mark won the section off 11. A guy at the other end had £70. Gareth Gibbons next to me. Yeah. Gareth 3 nets, Gibbons. Yeah. Yeah, just to let you know, folks, 2 hours in, he did get up. He did slip at third netting. Yeah. Obviously, knowing he'd got £100 in the net at this point. Yeah. Gaining some of this blog. This week's blog will be interesting, won't it? Yeah. And he ended up weighing a subtotal of £66.
Well, do you know what he said to me? I'm going to tell you. I know you've been taking piss out of him for that. Yeah. He told me after he'd done it just to mess your head up.
Did he really?
And by looks of it, it worked, didn't it?
It did.
It did, because you thought he'd got more than he'd got.
He kept saying rude words as well during match. Every time he caught a fish, he'd pick it out of his landing net, kiss it, and as he slipped it into his keep net, he'd go, finger.
Would he? Strange, isn't it?
Very strange, very strange.
What a strange young man.
Yeah. Tell you what, he's a character, that Alex Dawson.
He's
several women on the go, haven't you now?
That doesn't surprise me.
I can't mention any names. He's got a mother and daughter duo on the go at the moment.
Has he really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Round there, they like to keep it in the family in the Stone and Stoke area, don't they? So.
Don't we all, mate? Don't we all?
Well.
Anyway.
Yes.
That was my day. I enjoyed it. I'll definitely be back later in the year. And how was your day?
Well, your day sounds absolutely hectic and action-packed compared to the day that me and a few other brave souls enjoyed on Match Lake. Now, Match Lake's a really prolific lake, and I think we were just unlucky on the day because the F1s didn't really want to feed. It turned out to be a carp fishing affair, basically. Yeah. And that threw the spanner in the works for a few people, myself included. And to cut a long story short, no get a bite on the pole of the proper fish until the last hour. It was all feeder fishing up to the island.
Yeah.
I actually started off on a little cage feeder with a 4mm pellet. And that was totally wrong. I ended up switching to bomb and bird. I tried that. Never had anything on that. And 3 hours in, I'd not got a fish in the net. Don't get me wrong. Probably 4 fish were probably winning the section, so it weren't prolific at all. I got Jamie Hughes in my section. He was really struggling as well. Came for a walk and sat with me, which didn't like Jamie at all, is it?
No.
But that's how hard it was. So I wasn't despondent at that point, but when you can't get any indications, you can't have any confidence to sit on anything, so I was changing all the time. And I think in hindsight, what I needed to do was just fish a method feeder. Like Phil Davey did really well in my section, that's what he did. And he took tight to the island, he just sat on it. I think he only had like 5 bites, but he weighed 33 pounds.
Big old fish in that Match Lake, isn't
proper carp. But anyway, I digress. I did change to a little pellet feeder eventually, and I caught 3 fish. 2 carp on that and 1 F1 on the pole. But the poor lad next to me, Dean Lockett. Now, me and Dean seem to draw in each other's section all the time. And I have not felt as sorry for anybody in ages as what happened to Dean.
It saddens me. You've told me about it already. And
right, imagine this. Dean's in exactly the same situation I'm in, basically. He's not had a fish 3 hours in. Well, I'll tell you, he had 1 fish and a little tiny roach. That was all he'd got. And Phil Davey and Gibbo and a few others, we had such a laugh. It was a great set of lads, we had such a giggle. We're all taking the piss out of each other. I'm obviously getting it, same thing as Matt. Your blog's going to be fun this week, isn't it? Not catching anything, blah, blah, blah. And old Dean Lockett, to my right, we're getting it even worse than anybody. Imagine then, so I've then caught 2 fish going into the last hour. He's not had a bite still, bless him. And then he hooks a carp. An all-important carp. And off it goes. Meanwhile, Phil David next to him latching into his 4th fish on the method and playing it back. And somehow, I don't think it was either of their faults. I think it was somewhere in between the 2 pegs. His method feeder tangled up with Dean's pole elastic rig. And basically, as luck would have it, Phil got his fish and Dean's fish came off.
Bless him.
So poor old Dean ended up with 1 roach. But that only got him 1 less point than I had, because I had 3 fish for £9. And that was set into last in section. But again, it was so tight, it was just a really, really strange day. But still enjoyable. And I'm not making excuses, because I do think if I'd gone, if I'd known a bit better what to expect and just fished a method feeder back to back, I think 5 or 6 pulls, you're 30 odd pound and you're up there, aren't you? So
yeah.
It was a learning curve. And I'm fishing the festival there this week, so I'm looking forward to pouring it right.
Fantastic.
We must say a big well done, by the way, to the individual winner on the day. We got a little interview with him, didn't we?
We certainly did. He was on Peg 1 on Match Lake, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Awesome performance. 130 odd pound.
Yeah.
And you can find out exactly how he did it right now.
Well, we're here at Heronbrook Fisheries, where today round 2 of the spring league's taken place. There's been 120 anglers taking part, making it probably one of the biggest matches in the country this weekend. I'm joined by the winner, Ian Simpson. You've had a lovely day's fishing, haven't you?
I had a fabulous day, yeah. Nice peg to draw, but nice day's fishing.
What you weighed?
£135.
And you've been on peg 1 on Match Lake?
On Match Lake, yeah.
And how have you caught them?
I caught mainly jobbing for carp early on with bread.
Yeah.
Had about £40 in the first hour, so a really good start. And then got some F1s on pellet over to the stick-ups, which you can see.
Yep.
And they were moving all day, which is nice. And then got some F1s on maggot at 5 metres.
Brilliant. So you've caught on a bit of everything, really, then, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've had to obviously keep changing to keep fish coming, then.
Absolutely. Well, it's difficult when you're going that far over and trying to keep them out. And, they were there at 5 metres. If they're there at 5 metres, you can catch a big one.
definitely. You mentioned that you've been dobbing today early on. Were you dobbing up to the same set of stick-ups up here?
Yeah, 4 stick-ups. Gone us through the 14 metres, 16 metres. I thought I'd start as far away as I could, thinking I'll maybe push them into the corner, because I know everyone says they're in the corner. So
yeah,
I thought I'll start away from them and work in. But some nice carp early on.
Brilliant.
Big double-figure ones. So.
Have you? Oh,
yeah.
lovely. Lovely. And how's the team done today?
We've got, I think, 2/3. I've obviously won the section, and we've had one blowout, I'm afraid.
Well, you'll be well up with that, though, won't you? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I
team
think we're a
points,
point difference to last week, so I think we're 16 points.
Oh, brilliant. Well, very well done. Great match to win.
Thank you.
And all the best for the rest of the series.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as we talk to you now, folks, we've just returned from a long, tiring, but also incredibly enjoyable journey to Scotland to visit Daiwa.
We have. Exciting plans afoot, haven't we, with Daiwa?
Very.
For our Pole Fishing Masters event. So, with more of that to be revealed on the Pole Fishing website, etc. later. But it was a great trip. I always enjoyed going up there. Fantastic food, fantastic company, and a great chance to have a sing-song in the car on the way up and back, I always think. What's up with you?
I thought your singing were excellent, mate.
This lad here has got no appreciation of culture. This is the problem.
Culture.
Roger Whittaker is one of the finest singer-songwriters to come out of Kenya ever. And, you know, we sat and enjoyed his music on the way up.
This is what I had to put up with. Well, we've been to Scotland, folks, on a trip to see Daiwa the last couple of days. Just to show you something I have to put up with is this, all the way home.
Oh, wouldn't have to work hard. I got digga diddle 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 dum. If I were a diggy diggy rich diddle 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 man, I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. It was treated to well over 8 hours of fine vocals, you know, and music by some of the world's greatest artists, and you failed to appreciate any of it, didn't you? But what you did appreciate was that reel that you took a shine into.
Certainly did. Oh, I saw a right sexy piece of kit. When we went to see Daiwa in Scotland, there were a few catalogues in a little room, in the meeting room, and one of them was dedicated to a particular reel.
Yeah.
And it's way too expensive for my budget, but by God, it's one of the sexiest pieces of fishing tackle I've ever seen. And I got a little clip of it here, and as you can see, it's beautiful. And I think I'll be dreaming about fishing one of them this evening.
There is, you know, they do some lovely tackle. You know, I'm a big fan of Daiwa kit. I use a lot of their kit for my own fishing, and it is brilliant. But another delight of, I think it's actually Motherwell where we stayed, but it's Wishaw where the Daiwa factory is. Another delight in Motherwell that we've got to mention is that curry house, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Unbelievable.
We went for a bite to eat with Stephen McCabe, who was the marketing director, and a couple of others.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Stunning.
Absolutely lovely.
What's it called? Bombay Cottage?
Bombay Cottage.
Absolutely
if you're ever
beautiful.
in Scotland, make sure you try it out.
Stunning.
So, folks, this weekend, Heronbrook Festival for me. You're coming to Heronbrook probably for a match as well, aren't you?
I'm thinking of it. I might go to Tunnel Barn Farm, yeah. I definitely want to go F1 fishing again. I've got a little bit of a taste for it. And then Saturday I've got the Talent Pathway, the final one of them at Barston Lake, so I'll get you a bit of footage from that. Watch the young guns in action.
Awesome. And we'll catch up with you early next week.
Yeah.
Oh, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check out the new Match Fishing Week TV programme. It's well worth a look. It's on Match Fishing Magazine's YouTube channel. If you search for that, and the link will appear on there. And it's just basically a weekly roundup. 2 great looking presenters.
We have to wear shirts and everything. It's like match of the day of fishing.
Sort of, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
check it out.
If you haven't seen it yet, it's well worth a look.
And then, oh, we're on low battery. That must be time to go. Have a lovely weekend. Tight lines.
See you later.
Lord who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were to wear